All right, Jones, how you gonna find that statue and all this junk?
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk? No, seriously, there is a truck full of junk over here. Well, it's a chest. Anyway, hi everybody. It's Starman, clearly. And welcome to the first chapter of my playthrough of Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Now, I've already done the first Indiana Jones game, made by LucasArts, back when they were still Lucasfilm Games. This was made after they had transitioned into being LucasArts Games. And it's a rather notable game, not only as a game, but also as a piece of the lore of Indiana Jones, because there was a time when they were considering adapting this into the fourth Indiana Jones movie. Alas, it did not happen, because for my money, the story here is the equal of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, and even a little bit better than Temple of Doom. But we can already see that things have changed a fair bit from The Last Crusade game, the most obvious thing being that they have improved the graphics. This was done in 256 color VGA, so a much greater variety of color and a certain depth to the artwork. You also may have noticed that we got to hear Indy's voice instead of my not all that terrific Harrison Ford impression, because this one did get released on disc, but then later got a CD-ROM. Yes, this game is so old that they pushed to get it onto CD with full voice acting, which was super huge deal back in the 90s. Yeah, I know I'm really dating myself pointing this out, but a third, not quite as obvious difference compared to the first game is that the previous game, as I noted in my playthrough of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, it had a separate what is mechanic on the cursor so you could find the hot spots on the screen. This game has eliminated that, so as you can see, we now have a simple mouse over letting us know when we have an object we can interact with. Now, you're still having to pixel hunt in some places, but not quite as annoying as it was back in the first Indy game.
It's a stone carving of Shiva.
And we can right-click on the objects to bring up a description.
Some kind of funeral urn.
And you'll note that the exact wording does not always match up with what is written on the screen.
It's a medieval gargoyle, or good imitation.
In this case, so far, everything's matching up.
It's a copy of an Egyptian statue of Horus. It's a genuine candlestick. Marcus still thinks this chest belonged to Columbus.
And we get a little bit of a demo here, running through this sequence before as the credits play out. You can skip over it, but I'm not going to, just because it is a good introduction to the game, but it also introduces newbie gamers to the basics of how...
Poor Marcus. He thought this was a Maasai warrior.
Of how all of the various mechanics work. It's also the only time in the game that we see Marcus, strangely enough. We can look at everything, but the only thing that we can really interact with doing the right-click is the peculiar statue, which stands out because it is a peculiar statue. So we'll go ahead and look at that. Oh noes!
Oof!
Yeah, this opening is a little more slapstick than your standard Indiana Jones opening, but it is not unenjoyable for that. A nice MIDI conversion of the classic John Williams theme there.
The label says unidentified potsherds. Looks like beadwork from the Phoenix collection.
Dark Phoenix. And yeah, we can look at most of the objects here.
It's from the Shamet collection.
But we can't...
Very sharp.
We can't pick anything up yet.
Looks like textiles from the Shamet collection.
And we will be coming back to this area later in the game. I can attest that this is very much like what most library attics are like.
I think I've read them all.
Alright, so we have books on tools.
I don't need them. They're just textbooks.
Books on pots.
I've done enough climbing today. It's an old lecture hall desk. There's nothing of importance here. There's nothing of importance here.
Yeah, books on dig sites. Hey, books on statues.
These books don't look familiar. Uh-oh.
And I would just like to observe a moment of silence for the 3 librarians who were crushed to death in the past year by falling bookshelves. I'm actually making that statistic up, but it did sound convincing, didn't it?
Better get that roof checked.
And that floor. So yeah, not much here to look at except for the cat figurines.
A cheap copy of a Siamese idol. Yow!
Featuring Doug Lee as the voice of Indy because, you know, naturally they could not get Harrison Ford to voice himself for a video game. Either they couldn't afford him or they just could not get him to sit down and do it.
A fine sample of bitumen.
Either one is likely.
It's hot.
Thank you, Paris Hilton. And spoiler, you can open them in any order. It'll always be in the last one you check.
I'll be. Here's what I've been searching for.
It's an Oscar. Well, no.
Strange-looking thing. I wonder where Marcus picked it up. I'm back. Indy?
You don't look at all well, Dr. Jones.
Exploring our collections can be dangerous, Mr. What was your name again?
Smith. Tell me, did you find a lock to match my key?
You bet I did. Take a look.
What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Why not? It's an obvious fake.
You may think so, Doctor, but I believe we are opening a new chapter in history.
My word, Indy, a small metal bead. Jewelry, perhaps? I still think it's a fake.
Then you won't mind if I take it.
Really, Mr. Smith?
Stand back, gentlemen.
I hope you've got a getaway car waiting. You'll need one.
What is fakes?
That was German. I wonder if this blonde guy is a Nazi.
He got away. But we got his coat, Marcus. Hey, what's this? Klaus Kerner, huh?
Good Lord, Indy, the man's some sort of agent from the Third Reich. What does the spy want with the bloody statue?
I lied, Marcus. I don't think it's a phony. I can't place the style, but it's old.
Look what else our friend was carrying. An old copy of National Archaeology. And there you are in Iceland.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, field supervisor for the Jastro expedition. My first real job.
Who's the woman?
Sophia Hapgood. She was my assistant, the spoiled rich kid from Boston, rebelling against her family.
Where is she now?
She gave up archaeology to become a psychic.
How odd.
You can say that again.
Indy, Kerner found you. What if he finds her? We should warn the woman.
You're right. I want to know more about that
He
statue.
cleans up good, doesn't he? And fast.
You know, Marcus, the coldest year of my life was the one I spent in Iceland with Sophia.
And that is the introduction to the game. Pretty good one. Although, as I said, you can just hit the escape key to jump through all this.
I'm back. Well, here I am in New York, wondering how Sophia Hapgood got mixed up with Nazi spies.
And if you do that, you jump immediately to the same spot, but you get that little snippet of text instead. Now, clearly, we do have to find a way to get inside the theater to see Sophia, but there's one fun thing you can do instead.
Grand Central Station, please.
We can go back to our overhead map and go straight back to Barnett College in upstate New York. And I think it's kind of amusing that the game designers let you do this because, as I said, you do eventually have to go back to the opening area. But you can't do that now because the stairs are out of order.
The stairway is closed for repairs.
And yeah, the water fountain doesn't work. But you can still go downstairs and start picking up random stuff that might be useful later.
It's a greasy old towel.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pick up this greasy old towel and stuff it in my good suit. And while I'm at it,
A fine sample of bitumen.
let's go ahead and pick up some coal.
It's a greasy old towel, a fine sample of bitumen. This was taken a long while ago, when I thought we might like each other.
And by like, I mean indulge in the sort of thing you could only get away with a research assistant back in the 1930s. And nothing in the lockers this time. But there is a little bit more amusement to be found here.
It says, for sale, Woodstock typewriter with floating carriage, $50. It says, wanted, ride share to World's Fair.
Now it says share a ride to World's Fair.
It says, we'll trade K&E slide rule for FADA radio. It says, for sale. It says, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio?
Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo, woo, woo.
It says, Edward Teller, phone home.
E.T. phone home.
It says, for sale. It says, wanted. It says, for sale, 1937 Ford Coupe, like new, $300.
Ford Coupe, get it?
It says, wanted, ride share to World.
And I think that's all of them. Yeah, even though you really can't do anything here, you can still come back to this point and just start grabbing whatever random stuff you want to from Indy's office and the little areas
Nothing up here but a few broken pots.
downstairs. So yeah, nothing on the shelves. Can't do anything with the water heater, which, oddly enough, the water heater last time was selectable, but not now. We can also raid the fridge.
Phew. Guess I should have cleaned it out. I guess it's mayonnaise, but it looks like used motor oil.
Yeah, I'll stuff that in the pockets of my nice suit. Why not?
Nothing useful in here.
Yep, and that's all we can do up on this level. Can't go back in the bathroom. But we can look at the
Here's a
shelves.
cartouche from the Well of Souls. Here's a thuggy idol. Ah, letters from the school principal to my dad. They all begin the same way, regarding Henry.
Yeah, a bit of a pun there regarding another Harrison Ford movie.
I wish that purple meteor on the top shelf would stop glowing.
And that is, of course, a nod to Maniac Mansion.
I really should catalog this stuff.
And that's pretty much all we can do in here at the moment. So we'll go back to our car. And back to New York. Okay. Now, this being an adventure game, the obvious way of going into the theater probably is not going to work, but you are allowed to attempt it. So we will look at the ticket taker,
She's counting up the receipts.
talk to her.
Hello there.
The show's sold out, sir.
Now wait.
No seats, no standing room, no exceptions.
Sounds a little bit like Harley Quinn.
Excuse me.
Come back next week.
Okay, so we cannot buy a ticket, which means we must find some clever way of getting inside the theater.
It's today's paper. It's today's paper.
And we can't get
It's
anything
today's
more
paper.
useful other than that. Now, there is a phone booth here.
I can't make a call. I'm out of nickels.
But the phone booth does not do us much good. Now, thankfully, there are a couple of ways of getting into the theater involving this area by the backstage door. And I'm going to show you how to do all of them because this winds up being rather important in terms of our destiny later on. Now, the obvious tricksy way to do it is just walk right in.
It's unlocked.
What do you want, pal? This ain't no ticket office.
And we have a couple of responses here. And it is possible to try and talk our way past the dumb muscle here. And I'll try and do that in a moment, but let's go with the fun way first.
I'm here to enjoy Madam's outrageous orations.
This ain't that kind of show.
Oh, I hear she's practicing sophistry in public.
That's a bald lie, and you better apologize for spreading it.
Why should I, you fat tub of lard?
That's it, wise guy. Put up your dukes.
And they've improved the sound effects from the fighting game before.
The bigger they are, well, you know.
So yes, we can just beat the stuffing out of Biff. And that will get us into the backstage area easily enough. We can also avoid the door entirely if we walk back here.
I can't get there from here.
And we have a sliding puzzle of sorts.
The way looks blocked. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. The way looks blocked. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. The way looks blocked. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. The way looks blocked. The way looks blocked. It won't go any further that way. The way looks blocked. The way looks blocked. It won't go any further that way.
Yeah, there's terrible overlap here. There we go.
Hey! You must be the new doorman. About time they got rid of Biff. He was such a pushover.
But the third way of getting through this, and my preferred one, is that we try and talk our way past Biff.
It's unlocked.
What do you want, pal? This ain't no ticket office.
I'm the fire inspector.
What do you take me for, a moron?
Wait a minute.
What now, buddy?
I really need to talk to your star.
Stop, you're breaking my heart.
Now you can try a couple different tacks here, but the one that ultimately works is that Biff is a major fanboy of Sophia.
I've got to see her. She's the most wonderful woman.
Don't kid around, pal. You're talking about my idol.
No kidding. I think she's the greatest.
Me too. There's something about her.
Yeah, great cerebrum. She knows how to obfuscate. She's very smart.
Yeah, she's very smart.
Smart, I'll say. You know what I really like? It's the way she...
Cons folks out of their hard-earned cash, tosses her head when she laughs, the way she makes things so easy to understand, the way she hires poor Neanderthals like you. Easy to understand. Let's keep it
The way
simple.
she makes
for
things
Biff.
easy to understand.
That's it. All that smart stuff seems so easy when I'm listening to her. Say, you're okay for a college boy. Come on in.
Ultimately, they all get us to the same end. And some of the puzzles do let you approach things in different ways. But ultimately, the game will make you choose one of three paths. The fists path, where you punch your way through things and have a lot of action. The wits path, where you solve a lot of puzzles. And the team path, where you work with Sophia to try and overcome the obstacles together, with a mixture of combat and puzzles. But first we have to talk to Sophia to get this show on the road. And that is what we will begin doing next time. See you then.